Hi everybody, I'm Daniel Gutierrez at dgutierrez84 on Twitter, and this is It's Virtually Lunch. So today this is my second episode, and I am out here just trying to figure out what to do. My goal for this podcast is to go to actual restaurants and actually more so interview people. So I want it to be about the food and the person that I'm talking to. But for right now, we're getting things started. I'm still learning. So I decided, let me pick a beautiful spot. And today we're at Balboa Lake. It's, or Lake Balboa actually. I think Balboa Lake is in San Diego. Lake Balboa is here in the Los Angeles Valley. Not too far from where I live. And it's kind of pretty for what it is. It's kind of a hidden gem in the middle of a kind of a messed up city, so to speak. It's got its ups and its downs. But you got duckies. You got people on the lake. There, if you look back there are some swan boats that you could easily hop onto and ride around the lake. Oh, there's somebody on the lake right now. I didn't know if you could fish here or not, and it turns out you can. There's somebody back there fishing if you take a look in the distance. But it's not too bad. Nice spot to be at. Be sure you have some sunblock whenever you're in here doing some stuff. But I've never actually sat down here to have lunch. And today for lunch, I decided American Chinese food. I say American Chinese food because if you go to China and ask for any of this, in all likelihood, you're gonna not get what you want, nor will they know what you're asking for. I know this only because I used to teach people in China how to speak English for about 5 years. And every time I said, hey, do you guys have orange chicken? They were shocked. Full of sugar, full of stuff like that. But this is the American Chinese food to which I will be eating today. I went with chow mein. Now, here's the thing about American Chinese food. Don't go to Panda Express. If you can avoid Panda Express, always avoid Panda Express as much as you possibly can. You want to see 4 words, 2 and 2 together, okay? You want to see either panda or dragon, and then you want to see express or walk, okay? Walk, not like walking, but like walk as in the kind of thing that you cook in. You combine any of those 2 together, that's great, except for panda and express. All right, don't put those 2 together. That's not what you want. You want something else. Now there is other. If it has the word Chinese in it, that's fine as well. Or China, that's also China. That's also good as well. The staple, if you don't know, I don't know what it's like to have American Chinese food outside of LA, to be honest. But the staple that you have to get, it's kind of like when you go to any pizza place. You got to order the pepperoni first. If you're just starting off, you got to order the pepperoni first, because if they can't make a good pepperoni pizza, then whatever their best is just kind of like hiding the truth, if that makes sense. So you always have to order the orange chicken the first time you go. After that, you can order whatever you want. I normally get barbecue pork with it. Now, barbecue pork costs $1 more, but definitely worth it. This plate here, $9, and it's probably going to give me like 2 meals, to be honest. I will not finish this. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who knows what I'm going to do. But it is all preference. Now, some people really, really love a good crispy orange chicken, or General Tso's chicken, as some people will call it. But this is definitely orange chicken. I think General Tso's has more spice to it, has a lot more care and love. If you're going to call it General Tso's or Genso's, as our lovely Genso moderator for our show likes to be called. I think he likes to be called that. You know what? I never asked him, but we're going to call him Genso nonetheless. Anyways, this is definitely orange chicken. Care and love, General Tso's. This, in particular, not as crispy as others. But man, it's really good. Now, I love the spiciness. I love sriracha. But the crappy part is, they only give you one. look how much food you get. That's not enough, especially if you like spice. That's my only criticism. Now I, as always, have gotten pink lemonade. So my order of drink choices goes High C Orange. Some of you may know it as Ecto Cooler. But High C Orange is like the best, in my opinion. It's probably full of sugar, probably the worst drink you can get, but I'll go High C Orange. Underneath that, pink lemonade, specifically pink lemonade. There's something about pink lemonade that they put in it that makes the taste a little bit, makes it a little bit subtle. Whenever I have like the Minute Maid lemonade from the fountain drinks, it makes my teeth feel weird. I feel there's something in it, like calcium or something. I don't know. So it goes High C Orange, pink lemonade, Sprite, then probably regular lemonade, and then whatever the hell else they got if they don't have any of those things. Is Pepsi okay? No. No, it's not. Pepsi changes a lot of things. But there we go. Now, I once had a friend, I have a lot of friends who are Chinese, and they love long, long noodles. This would not make them happy at all. But it's still good, still delicious for the duckies. The duckies will definitely eat it. And by the way, I do have a podcast, a live stream if you want to hang out and chat. We do talk about kind of gross food sometimes, mostly gross food, but we look to see how it could be improved. Listen, we live in struggling times. One of the things I want to talk about today is my job search. But a lot of people have to kind of rein it in, pull it in, pinch pennies, as they used to say. Pennies are now worthless, so I guess we're pinching dollars. I wonder if the copper is worth more now than the actual penny. Again. But there we go. But on the show, we like to talk about the grosser things that people will put together just out of hunger. By the way, I'm in the city of Van Nuys, so we're very close to what's known as the Van Nuys Airport, and we're also really close to the Burbank Airport. So frequently, you hear airplanes passing overhead. Airplanes passing over the head. There we go. Anyways, back to my my podcast. If you want to watch it, it's every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/It's Virtually a Podcast. But you can also follow us at It's VRA Podcast on Twitter or at It's Virtually a Podcast everywhere else. Back to the food. Now, soy sauce for a while had a bad rap. In fact, MSG for a while had a bad rap altogether. Sodium, yes, sodium is bad. I'm not advocating for more sodium. But the amount that's in soy sauce is less than what you think it is. Not saying that allows you to have a whole bunch more, but it's less than what you think it is. And MSG is just damn delicious. I don't know who stopped that one. Probably the salt companies. Now, the barbecue chicken I'm always weary because chicken tends to come out dry a lot. This one's okay. It could use more red. I don't know. How do you make barbecue sauce? Could use more of that. But pretty good. So, they didn't have barbecue pork at this time. Probably should have asked, because I really, really love it. But if they don't have it, they don't have it. And I was on a time crunch, so there we go. I don't know who fishes here. I highly doubt the cleanliness of this water. First off, there's no river that it connects to. This is definitely a man-made lake. How this water got in here, I don't know. And if it was the LA River, gross. So if you're fishing out of this water, I would be highly, highly concerned of a lot of different chemicals. God, I love those airplanes. So, this past weekend, my brother got married, and I recorded it using this. But I did not know. I'm kind of new to DSLRs because I never could afford one, and I still can't. But I'm getting back into it because I used to deal a lot with film cameras. Well, with film cameras, I didn't have to worry about the lights per se. I had to worry about televisions because televisions flicker at a different frame rate than the film cameras. That makes sense. But I never had to worry about the light. I did not know that, well, where did my other napkin go? Wow, here it is. I didn't know that lights mess with DSLR cameras. And so when I went into the wedding and I set it up, it looked beautiful. I hit record. The lights suddenly all became possessed. Obviously not in the actual wedding ceremony. When we were there, it was fine. But in camera, everything was going off like friggin' Christmas tree lights. So I'm working on trying to fix that. We'll see what happens in the future. My goal is to, record weddings, record special events, special occasions. I think we should document more in 360 because I think it gives people a better sense of what life was like. The interesting thing about 360 storytelling versus 180 or even regular traditional is I tell you exactly where to look. I manipulate the truth. But with this, it is what it is. You can manipulate things to a certain extent. I could Photoshop things to a certain extent. And in the future, I absolutely probably can do a lot of AI work and manipulate a whole lot of things. But for the most part, it's all around you. What you're seeing is what you're seeing, and you can see it at all the angles. Just turn around, take a look. So we'll see what happens. I'm doing this because I'm attempting to make a job out of this. By the way, if you like what you're seeing and you want to hire me, please go ahead, feel free to hit me up. Put it down. Put a comment down below or at me at Twitter, whatever you'd like to do. We also do have an email, by the way. It's hello@itsvirtuallyapodcast.com. I haven't used it in a while, but by all means, feel free to use it. With that being said, finding a new job now is kind of a pain because I started into the workforce when you didn't necessarily need a bachelor's degree. And when you're working in film and television, you still technically don't need a bachelor's degree. But growing in film and television isn't like what it used to be, especially now with YouTube and things like that, in that you kind of need to create something and have something already created, and then they'll say, oh, okay, you can do that position. Whereas nobody will mentor you really too much anymore. It's done. It kind of depends on who you know and what you're up to, but not a whole lot. So I'm trying to enter into a normal workforce just to get some steady income. 2020 was hard on a lot of people, but jobs are opening up. But what we're discovering is jobs pay shit. Companies pay shit. And the amount of stuff... we need to survive is insane now. You need to have your own cell phone. You need to have your own internet. You need to have your own car to get there for the most part. Public transportation is awful. You can't get from point A to point B in a reasonable amount of time. If you choose to work for yourself, like by using like Lyft or Uber or something like that, well, there's a lot of costs that come into that it's hard to keep afloat. And then now with everybody working from home this past year, nobody wants to work if they don't have to. There are certain things like making a movie, making a television show. I need to go on location. I need to go to those places. But there's a lot of times that I don't have to do any of that stuff at all. Hold on. Edit that out. Ugh. I need some antibacterial spray. Hand sanitizer, if you will. So getting back into the workforce is a pain in the butt. In addition to that, I have a child I need to take care of. You know? In LA, to get a babysitter, it's about $20-25 per hour for a personal babysitter. And then if you want a daycare, it's for some reason more. Sometimes you can get it less. You can get less if you go to a church. I don't want to go to a church. Because those things are scary. I grew up in the church. I grew up Catholic, and I used to clean the priests' rooms, for God's sakes. I have good experiences with my priests, I will say that. It's just the community that is really weird and screwed us all. So I don't want my daughter to be raised in that situation. But if you're desperate for childcare, that's a possibility. I do know public parks also have childcare for pretty reasonable, and that I don't mind too much. In fact, I'd probably encourage it because it helps with the social aspect. I think that's great. But when you're working minimum wage, you can't afford that. And that's technically all I qualify for. Even though I have a crap ton of skills, it doesn't say bachelor. And that's the shitty part. And the other thing that I absolutely, and it's because of that it's all algorithmic. So when you apply for a job, you put in, first off, they ask you to upload your resume, but then they ask you to still fucking put all that shit again, the whole thing, everything you got back in to their system, everything. So you're wasting your time where you could be doing something else, you know? You're wasting your time and your energy. I feel that the human connection with work, with people caring about each other is just gone or thinned out. I am looking to work for smaller companies, mom and pop shops, you know, that give people a shot for either because they're desperate or not. And you can move up in mom and pop shops. I try to support mom and pop shops as much as I can. I try to stay away from the giant corporations. Now, it's a stupid line because I had to recently buy some computer memory for my desktop so I can edit these videos a little bit faster. And I had a choice between Amazon and Best Buy. And I went with Best Buy because I needed it right away and I didn't want Amazon. And while I can't speak too much about Best Buy and their pay practices, I haven't heard anything god awful about them. I avoid Amazon whenever I can, and I urge you guys to do the same too. Amazon isn't always the cheapest option, by the way. It's the laziest and it's the cheapest. It's not always. It's the laziest option, but it's not always the cheapest. So there we go. I luckily was able to get the same. I also do price matching. I recommend it. Go to Target, go anywhere else. They're still paying minimum wage, but people seem to be semi-happy. But I was able to get the same thing from Best Buy at the same price as Amazon, but right away. So I recommend doing that whenever you can. If you can swing a few extra bucks to the smaller mom and pop shops that have to have higher prices just because they're smaller, do so. I highly, highly, highly encourage it. One of the things I want to do with this podcast is go to smaller mom and pop restaurants, you know, not the chains, independently owned restaurants, and showcase their food. People are talented, man. That was a big bite. Anyways, thank you so much for having lunch with me. I know it was quick, but it was beautiful, right? I hope you have a great rest of your week. Be sure to follow us, subscribe, like, hit all the buttons that you possibly can. If you want to contact me, dgutierrez84, or it's VRA Podcast on Twitter. It's virtually podcast everywhere else. And again, oh my God, every Monday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, we are live talking about technology news, funny news, things that we all want to talk about. Join us on our Discord if you'd like. And if there's something in the news, even if it's a small, funny local story, trust me, we love those too. Pop it on there. Let's talk about it and enjoy. I want us to learn together, to grow together, and build a community. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the lunch. Comment down below what you think about American Chinese food. What is the difference between regular Chinese food and American Chinese food? Also, comment down below if you know of any places in LA or close to LA that I can go and try out their food and have a little lunch with you guys. Have a good one. See you next time.